Hi, how are you? Okay, not a problem. Let's get started. Uh-oh. Uh, hey, Nikki, I'll be right with you. 1 second, ladies, 1 second. I'll be right with you. Hey, guys. I started my free yes and no, and now the AI won't, the algorithm, not the AI, sorry, the algorithm won't let me sign off right now. I got to give it at least a few minutes. I can take some questions. I had a technical issue this morning, but when you stream, there's like a time demand for. Okay, Hyacinth, do you see Dwayne coming back to you? Okay, between the neighbor yapping, I'm sorry, and knowing I have to answer very demanding questions here, I have to attend to them. My brain, I'm having a hard time concentrating. Give me a minute. I have to get in the zone. 1 second, sweetheart. What was her question? Was it D? I'm sorry. Whose question was it? Hyacinth. Give me a second, Hyacinth, please. I'm not a robot. Okay. Okay, Hyacinth is asking about Dwayne. Tell me some, give me Dwayne's sign. I don't usually need it, but I need a little something to tune me in. Give me Dwayne's sign. Just his sun sign is fine. I needed to. Okay, Dwayne Libra. I'm just gonna do this. I know it sounds so crazy. I can't stand his yapping sound. You should have heard the lawnmower like 20 minutes ago. Okay. Yeah, I got it. I got the connection. Ow. Um, the situation that I'm seeing with Dwayne is that he's having an altercation with another male. Now, usually Libra males, they're kind of they don't really do one-on-one conversation unless they're super mad. But I see that the energy is him having a confrontation with another man. So this can be that he is jealousy. I don't know if it has to do directly with you or his situation that he's dealing with. You would know because that's your love interest. So if he's having beef, but this is directly connected to the question that you're asking. So either he's not happy with you being close to someone, or maybe that's the level of that's the root of the issue, or this has to do with his life. So that means I'm going to ask a second question. And I still see him very upset because he's not getting the response that he wants. And this is not with a person, this is with a situation. Or it could be because, in other words, whatever caused him to be upset, it plugs into him being even more upset. And this talks about, unsatisfied with either wanting to move and he couldn't, or wanting a job and he couldn't. He's very upset, and it's kind of getting into other parts of his life. So if the upsetness root with the other guy comes from something with you, I suggest you address it. Are you aware that it's with you? Because it can be just his own stuff that he's dealing with. I saw him having an altercation with another male. That can be symbolic of a jealousy factor. You are aware of it. Okay. It does. So it has to do with you, is what you're saying. I'm not trying to probe into your business, but if you can just give me like a pointer so I understand. So it has to do with you, you're saying? Okay, it does have to do with you. Okay, so in that case, He's really hurt. I suggest that whatever you decide to do, a lot of softness. He's a Libra male. So talking to him at the right time, because if you talk to him at the wrong time, he's going to just out the mouth will shred you to pieces with his mouth. Brutal Libra mouth, brutal. But I suggest that you find a moment where he's, you know, or he at least comes back after being upset and says hi or whatever, like, I want to talk to you again. I suggest you comfort what the feeling was, because you can't leave it alone like that. It really, really bothered him, whatever it was. All right, sweetheart, thank you so much. I'll take one more question and then I gotta sign off, because you're not allowed, if you guys stream or you're new to streaming, been at this 4 years, so I'm not new to it, but on TikTok, India, thank you, Hyacinth. Have a good one, sweetheart. Yeah, she knows what I'm talking about. When you sign on, you can't just sign off like that. The algorithm penalizes, so you gotta wait a little. I was like, darn, I didn't think people would show up so fast. Next time I'll do the other one first. Okay, let's see. D, will you have another boy? You have to have an ultrasound, sweetie, or go to your OBGYN. Yeah, I don't do medical. This isn't an ultrasound system, you know. Now in readings, I've announced a lot of little people coming into the world, but I don't advertise that. There may be some people that do. There was this one lady who had like 13 kids or something, and she would do like fertility readings. Bless her heart, she birthed a village. She deserves to do fertility readings. But I don't do anything with medical, sweetie, I'm sorry. If it shows up naturally in a reading, it's cool, I will say it. A lot of times the runes, sometimes, you know, when I do reads and stuff, it comes up. But it's usually when the person doesn't know and needs to know. In your case, you know, it's a whole other thing for you. So I don't do those things. Nothing with safety either. All right, have a good one. Okay, Trinity, how does, oh, I asked the same thing yesterday for you. Pamela, is JR like junior? Or JR like those are the initials? It would make a difference the way that I dive into the question. Okay, I'm gonna go with Dina. Any new love for you, possibly Joiner. Okay, so Joiner. Well, he wants to. He wants to. I think it's the signal that you're giving off. I think it might be you being skeptical and not sure to trust. Guard is up. I think that's infiltrating a new connection in general. I think you would have more options as well, but he is interested. I see him trying to kiss you first, so if that hasn't happened yet, then it will. But I know, open that door if you really want to, but I suggest you don't ruin a new connection with your skepticism. Your energy seems tough. You know. All right, I mean that in a nice way, but I'm just trying to tell you, you know. All right, guys, I'll be back and do free yes and no. There are people waiting for me on the other place that is not mentioned because of the censorship. Okay, guys, I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Oh my Lord, let me get off there. Ah, go away. Ah, it decides to flood when I need to leave. Sorry, guys, I'm so sorry. Let's see, Valexia, Nikki, Jenny, it's your reading that's taking place now, uninterrupted. Answering 2 questions, Valexia, and you didn't have a question. Nikki, are you still there, Nikki? Earth calling Nikki. No, they're all gone? Okay, so it's just me and Jenny? You there, sweetheart? Okay. Oh, no, that's Nikki. Okay. Hey, Nikki, how are you? What concern do you have, sweetheart? You don't know what to do about what? Jenny, yes, it's your time for your reading uninterrupted. I usually end at 4, but today's been a crazy day. I'm gonna run late. Sometimes that happens on Thursdays. I don't know why, but let's get started. Let me put this away. Okay. So if you want, Nikki, you can call me after this reading, if you'd like, because there's no way I'm gonna be able to communicate with you about magic and stuff like that on a stream that's very quirky, since what we have to talk about is magic related, and whatever your concern is, we're gonna have to do it on the phone. So just call me when I sign off here. I'm gonna have a window of time where I can talk. That way we can discuss whatever you want, because for me to read it in pieces and for you to tell me like a bunch of stuff, I'm gonna go nuts trying to be like, what's happening? And this is very slow for comments. All right, so I'm gonna focus on Jenny right now, but if you want, call me at my shop mobile number, and I will talk to you, okay? And that way we can communicate. All right, so all of the, okay, so hold every question, guys. I'm gonna be focusing on Jenny's reading. All right, sweetheart. This type of reading that you got is 10 cards. It gets into answering a question very deeply, but it's not a deep love reading. So you do get like a surface kind of read because it's 10 cards, and my love readings are usually like 50 cards. So it gives you an idea, but it still gives a lot of clarity. So it's usually good for career or any other question. I think you've gotten the surface readings before, the 25, the 10 card. Not a problem. What are you writing here? You said, yes, yes. And then you wrote, let's see, yes, 6-1. I think that's Gemini. Okay. Oh, so you're giving me the sign of the person you want to read about? Okay, not a problem. And you mentioned in the text, I misunderstood when you wrote the thing on the text. I thought you were asking if I had time for a private reading. I didn't know. I didn't understand. So I was like, yeah, you could book it because I had a window for one. I didn't know. So, and then you got a stream, so I was like, oh, I do that 10 to 4. But yeah, hopefully we understood each other. Okay. No. No. You don't have to unless I see it's very deep. Like, okay, if there's enough information, or you mean pay the difference? Oh, I don't have, unless I do like it would be like another, but then you would pay by a few dollars, because if you did 2 of the 25, it would be 50, and the other way is 48. So for $2, I don't know if you want to do it like that, or if you, because I want to save you money. So if you do the 25, I don't want you to spend another 48. But what I was going to say originally is the 10 will tell me if there's enough juice in there for me to open up the, for you to need a 48, because a 48 is really going to go very, very detailed. Whereas the 25 might just give you the answer you need sometimes. But I'm not going to do a mind read on the person, and I'm not going to probe like I do with the other one. Okay, that's fine. But if you're very new with him, it's, if you're very, very, very new, like it's a crush, like it's, what stage is it at? And I'll tell you if you should get the 48. You know what? Let me ask Spirit. 1 second. No, it's not enough. I'm so detailed that it's not, with a new person, there's not enough history. So I'm going to go deep into his life, which has nothing to do with you. The 25 is all you need. You're not eligible for the 48 because it's not enough info. You went on a date with and you ghosted because of your last job. Yeah, it's not enough history together. Not enough history. when the 48 takes hold is when there's something that the person needs to solve an issue. They need to either reconnect with that person or get that relationship off the ground, or it has to go into such nooks and crannies that it's required because it's too complex. In your situation, it was a date, you ghosted, there's not enough. So you're good, you're good. Okay, yeah, that's still not enough history. Yeah, you're still very early. So whether he likes you, whether he wants to be with you, whatever, we can find out with this reading. All right, you don't need, now let's say this turns into 2 months and he starts really, you start going up with your connection, and then something happens and you really need clarity, then it's the deep read. You don't need a deep read right now. Just your basics on what's going on. Okay, so that being said, let me go ahead and you want to give me like a nickname, or you want me to refer to him as Gemini? Oh, hang on a minute, I'm getting texted. I can't right now. Wait. Let me close this so I don't get a distraction. Okay, there we go. Okay, good. Okay, his nickname's Bora, or that's his name, or that's his nickname, or his last name. That's a weird first name. Like Bora Bora, like the island. His name is Bora? What nationality is he? That's so unique. Is he Polynesian? That's a Polynesian name, Tahitian name. Oh, he's Turkish? Okay. Interesting. Very nice. Okay. I love Turkish culture. Turkish culture is so beautiful. I read Turkish coffee grounds in the Turkish style. Yeah, it's a type of divination. Okay, here we go. You're good at looking up public record and public things, right? I assume because of your moon, your very, very, very strong, unique moon that is very detective-y, forensic-y. Okay. He's married, or at least has a situation very similar to it. So you want to look for, without a doubt, 100%. He is in a situation where he's either married or living with a woman and engaged, and they haven't tied the knot officially yet, or he's in some way, shape, or form committed to this woman. Okay? So that is 100%. So I don't know what story he's told you. I don't know if she's overseas, or I don't know if he's just Turkish descent, but he's never gone there. Some people are just, a whole Americanized for generations, whatever. I don't know, but I'm telling you, there's a woman Not unless they are physical together. Okay. So he lives with a female couple. Okay, because I'll check one more time. I'm picking up on male, the Gemini, and I'm picking up on the male and the Gemini in a married situation with a woman. But if he lives with a woman who's married to another woman, yes, it could be. It's unique situation. But I will check. I'll check. Not a problem. I'm a very open-minded person. Okay. It's a lover. That's what I thought before. But I figured, it's like I said, I'm very open-minded, and I have no problems asking, what the client wants. For the most part, it's a lover. So let's clarify. The living arrangement is with a married woman. So yeah, that does have to do when I scan his, because this is only 7 dice. And the math has to be, well, don't worry about the numbers, but since you're a number person, you count up, count down, and then you have to subtract, up and subtract down from the direction. So astrology is a lot of math. So in other words, when I check for the energy of the man in the story, in the reading, I check for scanning the living condition or the living situation to make sure he's alone. And I check for the physical part. So yes, the part of living with a woman that is married does clog the living condition, because there is the female arrangement is unique with a male. It does clog the living condition, but the romantic part is still prominent. So then I do a second and third check, and it comes up again with his love life. So I don't really use, because a lot of people can have roommates. So when I look for the living situation with the person, it's not primary. I always, the numbers that supersede that is always going to be the romantic numbers that I'm looking at. And then the other thing comes in minor numbers. So all I'm saying to you is, yes, this talks about, I look for love connection, and this is someone that he sleeps with. So this can be a long-time lover in a situationship. I can ask more about her if you would like, whoever the mystery lady is. But I wanted to let you know that this is the problem. If he's wanting to court you, he must be unhappy, or he has a problem, okay? So he either has an infidelity problem, or he's a sex addict, or he's just lonely and miserable and looking for a real connection. Whatever his reason is, but this is what a flag is to me. A flag is, let's say that he's dating a couple of, let's say he's dating a couple of women, but they're not the one. And he liked you, but you had some issues, and he was interested in you, but you had that kind of like flop happen. I would still see romantic, yeah, of course, yeah, that doesn't matter. And what I'm telling you doesn't matter. It's good for you as far as, your boundaries and everything like that. But hear me out. I'm trying to tell you that I'm seeing a flag. Why is that? because when I see the individual having romantic, like dating, or he's proactive in dating, trying to find the one, that's not a problem, because you're supposed to see that. You're supposed to be mingling and trying to find, you talk to different people, you can go out on different dates, and that's okay. Then you see the one and it works out, and then you leave everybody else. So sometimes you do see activity around it, that's not the person A and B in the reading. But the way I see it is when a person is in a committed lover situation. So that means that they see each other a lot. I don't know their story. I can look, okay, if you want me to look under the veil. But I'm already telling you that the flag that's happening in this reading with him is that this is the type of connection he's not going to stop physical with. So you would be cheated on in a physical way, is what I'm trying to tell you. We need to get to the bottom of what this connection is, so that when you speak to him, or you can do your own detective work, whatever you choose to do. But I'm seeing one flag. He's physically involved deeply with a female. And I don't know if she's married. I don't know what their deal is. All I know is that it's frequent, and it's been a while. And it's the kind of thing when a man has a steady lover or a steady friend with benefit that they hook up regularly. That is what I'm seeing. Maybe that's all he sees her for, and he's trying to find a real girlfriend, but it's still gross, because then it's just not that he's dating and he's keeping his options open. It's that he's physical with a person active, and that's nasty. He's got to cut that off before he starts dating other people. You don't want that. You don't want something like that in your situation. So it is. So, if he stops and gets a little blood work and he's good, then it's cool. Then, all right, leave that chapter, go to the new person. You're good and clean, and you're good. But to be involved in the body, odors and the body, waters or whatever the hell, ew. So let's find out, because that's not cool. Now, at the same time, he's not doing anything wrong. He is single. And, you did ghost him, maybe it was your spirit guides that made you ghost him. Maybe it was something about your intuition that didn't want something. And then because of an emotional reason, you're pushing yourself that direction. Maybe it was your protection that hasn't allowed physical, and you kind of ghosted him. Maybe that was why, because you have a Pisces moon. It's a very unique moon. So there's a lot of things you do that you end up going, oh my God, what was protecting me? Holy shit, Okay, let's find out. At this point, I know you want me to find out about you and him, which I will. I gotta find out about who he's with, okay? I gotta find out about that, so give me 1 second. Yeah. He's not gonna stop seeing this woman physically. So here's the thing. You have two options. We're going to see more of what the indication is in the reading. We're gonna see what comes out and what the advice is, right? Or at least the guidance or whatever. Let's judge it after the reading is finished. But sometimes when a person calls the person out and says, "Hey, I know about this. What's up with that?" Or the questioning. And, you see his body language, you let your intuition kind of read it, or maybe he's honest. And then you would lay down a rule that says, okay, we'll keep talking, but cut that off. And then let's go to the lab. It's not too romantic, but it's very safe. And then, you go on from there, because he could be a very great person. Although I see he's not going to stop seeing her physically, which lets me know he has a problem. I don't know. I read for a lot of people all over the world, and I really mostly read for women, but I have my large share of male clients. you know, with different preferences, but the straight ones, they are, sometimes they're mistreated by females who lie. Sometimes there's those that are, you know, bunch of dogs. It's unbelievable. You know, there's all kinds of people in this world. But that's the problem that I'm trying to tell you. So let me be very clear. Do I like the energy of this man? I'm trying to tell you very plainly, no, I don't. I'm sure he's great as a person, but he has a problem. Because if you meet somebody and you like her, you cut off your arrangement. When you're looking for something serious, most men, when they're alone, you know, yeah, okay, they need some companionship, whatever. They'll call Daisy or Tracy or whatever the hell. But, you know, when they get a girlfriend and they see a woman they like, they're like, okay, bye. I want her. I'm going to pursue her. Forget everybody else. She's what I want. And they focus. You know, they focus and they just do away with everything else because that's what they want to pursue. That's what the right thing is. You don't have your cake and eat it too. Because that's not cool. So I'm already telling you there's a flag with this man. I'm telling you very flat out, he will not stop sleeping with this woman. Okay? So find out who she is if you want to, or keep seeing him and bring it up slowly, or in a way that you feel is safe for you. I don't know, you know. Let's see what else the reading says, okay? I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I'm sorry. I really didn't expect that. I really thought it was going to be such a cool connection, but you know, we gotta look into things. Okay, and please, by all means, detective PI yourself away, so you realize what I'm saying. Okay, or hire a PI. That's all. Sometimes they have a flat rate. I work with a lot of them in some of my work, in some of my cases and stuff for clients. You know, like court cases and things. And some of them have really good rates, you know? Yeah. Oh, no, I'm not saying it would be my fault. No, how would that be my fault, silly goose? I know what you're saying, though. But no. What I meant by I'm sorry is not, you know, what I meant was that I feel bad. Like, I wish you had a better outcome with this connection. But I'd rather tell you, yeah. Yeah, that's a good thing. And I think that your protection is what's made you not emotionally involved, by the way. Okay, so here we go. But still, if you don't want to take my word for it, which I think that I always tell people, you know, instead of getting lost with a bunch of other readers and this person said this and this part, you're going to drive yourself nuts, but do what you want. I say, hire a PI for a flat fee. Ask him, probe, you'll see. That's the best way sometimes is to sit, look at public records, look things up, you know, go look at what I'm saying. Yeah, that's a proof in the pudding, you know. Okay. Thank you, I appreciate it. No, but no, I really do like when people go do those things because it gives them, you know, closure, you know, and they feel like, okay, yeah, this is direction. My interest to you is you didn't feel it. So one of the tells of a man like this is that they're usually very sensual in their vibe right away. Not always. Depends on their sign, but. Oh, so many. I don't mind you sending me updates, but if I seem lost or forget, don't get upset. I'm behind about 50 updates today. And I'm going, when did I read that for you? So people do that all the time, and I do get lost. I do forget. So don't take it personal if I forget. When I got his car, I saw a stuffed animal. Oh, that's not exactly, that's not exactly something a guy would have. A North American culture, no matter what ancestry, if they are Americanized, That's not something in our regular North American culture a grown man would have, unless a little kid gave it to him or something. That's, yeah, yeah. For his store. I don't. Maybe it was true. Maybe, but you know what I'm thinking. Something tipped you off intuitively. That's what I'm thinking. And you just didn't, because you have a Pisces moon in the first house. So your intuition and your thinking is crossed. And it's very interesting how you apply a lot of logic to the intuition. So you might go back in steps and say, oh well, that did happen. You put the pieces together later, yeah. Okay, let's see. So this is, we're going to start off. So this is the Gemini, the Turkish Gemini, and we're going to find out let me use the exact words that you said. One second, I want to get the exact question that you had. There's a long-term potential with Bora. Okay, you got it. Wow. Holy shit. Okay. Okay. Yes, Spirit, I hear you. Okay, Death card. I got you. I got you. Okay. Damn. All right. Okay, let's so the reading starts off very okay, let me explain the way this is going to go. To save people money from the 48, because we already talked about this, but just to let you know, FYI, how I work really quick. Sometimes when people want a really deep love reading and they don't want to buy the 48 one, and they buy a 25, and then later on they're going to buy other 25s, and I'm like, I didn't know you were going to do that. I could have changed my format. But what I do is sometimes I'll dive in, and instead of doing the reading on the question, I'll do the reading on the person. So it gives us more of a clue. I don't do a mind read, but I'll probe. So I based this one on him. So this is probing him instead of saying, oh, how's the relationship? Just tell me about what's going to be with both of them. I know that's not going to work with this. So I based it on him. So when you're understanding the reading I'm going to give you, I'm going to, understand that I'm doing it, I'm doing it with, his feelings in mind first. All right. So the reading begins with him feeling confused, which, this is where the reading begins, meaning, you ghosted him and, that's not, or whatever you want to call it, whatever term, you kind of left him hanging, and it was unsure. So the reading begins with unsureness. It makes sense. He did not really know if you were interested or not. Okay. Now, the current situation is that you hurt his ego in some way. I don't know if you're aware of it. If you stop analyzing it and you just feel it intuitively, I don't know if you pick up on the fact that it really hurt his ego, because that's what the reading is saying. It was uncomfortable for him. It was uncomfortable. And it also ruined some of his plans. Let me tell you, the woman does come into the reading as the problem. So the female that I was talking about crosses the reading immediately as the problem. So again, what I read in dice comes out in cards. If I did it in bones, if I did it in stones, I'm very consistent when I read. And that's what you want to look for if you ever learn to read. Same thing you get in tarot, you got to get it in any other tool that you use. All right, the consistency. So yes, she comes into the picture. I'll tell you, she wants marriage. There's a whole bunch of things that I see in her. She has her own story of pain and all of that, but I'm not going to get into that because, this is not about let's throw a pity party for her. But I digress. So I'm going to go back to the nitty gritty, which is you and him. Oh, hey, Beatrice. Thank you, sweetheart. What did she say? Oh, she has to go to school. Oh, okay, honey. Thank you. She's in Australia. So they have different timing. Yeah, she's so sweet. Okay, so she comes in, this lady comes in as the problem. At the same time, she's also not willing to say, hey, are you trying to see someone else? Then, she just goes along with it, but also doesn't make her, a good Samaritan either. You know what I mean? So she doesn't exactly get brownie points. But yeah, she's got her own tough story, FYI. Now, let me tell you something. You got yourself a pretty boy, huh? You found yourself a pretty boy. He knows you have money, at least to him. He knows you make good money. And it is something that he took note of. Interesting. Okay. Yeah. And he knows you make good money. Yeah. Interesting. What he's not aware of, that you have opened up your mind, your heart to saying, ooh, I like him, I'm going to date him. He doesn't know that. He still thinks that you, what I meant by having money is, there's so many ways to express it. So there's old money, there's Southern old money, there's, super rich and wealthy. What I meant is you're established. You hold your own, you do well, and you do very well for yourself. There's always goals, but yeah, exactly. So it's very different to be the damsel in distress and, not make ends meet, and then he comes in and he provides. That's not you by any means. I mean, you could play that role, but that's not you. You do well for yourself. You are independent. and that, you know, you have enough to get somebody else out of hot water if you needed to, and that's something he takes note of. Okay, so that's what I meant by that. You wouldn't rely on his pocket, but yet if he had to, he could rely on yours. Not that you would let that happen, but you get the picture. So he's not aware that you have, up until this reading, because now I see you have second thoughts, but up until from the time you booked the reading, or maybe like what led you to book the reading to about the time we started the reading, that gap of time, he was unaware that you were, you know, he was on your radar. So this is coming up in the reading as well. So he doesn't know what you want, is what I'm trying to tell you. So in his mind, his mindset, his perspective right now, he doesn't know what you want and he's not sure. All right. Okay. So let me tell you what Pretty Boy was going to do to you. Okay. Are you ready for this one? You're going to see a side to him, the more you deal with him, that you didn't know was there. He's vindictive. He was going to do the same thing to you. He was going to breadcrumb and ghost just for a little bit. Okay? So now that you know that information, you know, sit on that, because that means that the next time you deal with him, you're going to see little by little by little, he's got a vindictive streak. Oh yeah, you did that to me? I'm going to do this. So, you know, it's not like he didn't go from, oh, I'm so angry at her for what she did. No, he's suave with that, but he's calculated. So, you know, it's a good thing, because there must be something mellow to him. If he's a Gemini, he's going to be a very mellow guy, unless provoked, and it takes a lot. Because Geminis are pretty smooth. There's a whole other cons they have, but one of the pros is that they're very smooth-like in their personality, their demeanor. But he was planning on making you go through a difficult time. Once you hit it off on some dates, he was gonna do, you know, cut the cord for a little bit, not for long, but to see you sweat. Oh, she did this to me? How you like them apples? So he's vindictive. He's got a vindictive streak. The future of both of you. Now realize this is contingent upon the following things. I haven't checked if you've done any magical stuff. I'm not going to. I'm just going to cut right through it and tell you the good, the bad, the ugly. So when just for you to know, I doubt you have. I don't think that's your flavor. But sometimes people do love spells and they don't say anything about it, and you know, that affects readings. So if you just did a love spell, I know it doesn't apply, but I gotta let you know. If a person paid someone for a love reading, or they did something themselves and they don't want to say anything, and they get a love reading within close proximity, just like you take antibiotics and it takes like 14 days, right? That's why you can't skip a dose, right? It takes to build up. Computer viruses, you don't know the infiltration occurred until a certain time period, right? Okay, same thing with magic. So if you're doing a love reading, you're saying, Lucy, is he great for me? And I'll be like, oh my God, it sounds so good. And usually just spells, that's deceptive. Usually I check for that, but I get so many, you know, BS stories. But yes, letting you know if you did, or paid someone, or did something, which I know you didn't, but if you did, yes, this affects the reading. Now, next thing, your own energy, your own mind, your own free will, your own character may take this reading I'm giving you and alternate the future outcome, okay? Because this is a choice. Let me tell you what happens if you naturally continue to see him and date him and talk to him, what is going to occur. So this is contingent upon the ebb and flow of this organically. I know you haven't. I know you haven't. That's cute. Oh my gosh, that is such an analytical answer. Oh, that's so adorable. Yes, you're right. You know what? You know what's hysterical about that? In a technical sense, it is a spell. But not magically, biologically. Yeah, you wear biological spell triggers. I like that. I'm gonna use that line. I'm gonna say you wearing pheromones. I love it, Jenny. I love it. Okay. So you had to be a Pisces moon, I tell you. So this is how I see the future with both of you. The future is, the near future is that he's going to be very slick. We have ourselves a smart one. Yeah. So he's going to use his intelligence to lay on this wonderful explanation, this wonderful story. And it's so good. It's just so good, you know? Hopefully you can see through it, all right? Because he is suave. He's very suave. Has an answer for everything, and everything is thought out. All right. But you will see the proof in the pudding, because you will see the, with close inspection, you will see how he is secretive. You will see how you don't get a straight answer, but yet he's telling you everything. You will see how he's reserved, and you will see a vindictive streak. And you will see that he becomes available and then is not available. And then he's available and then he's not available. And you will see these things, all right? Now, a couple of things. He does fear that the things that he's all about will catch up with him. So he's afraid of getting caught. So he, you know, I believe he is, this seems to me like someone who is addicted to, you know, he has a vice. He definitely has a vice. This is not normal. You're not his, you know, he could be afraid. This fear could be directed at the woman, but the woman that crowns the reading, which is not you, it's the lady that I'm talking about, she doesn't seem like she has the personality to bop him over the head. You know what I mean? So it kind of feels to me like she's a lot more passive. But he's afraid of getting caught, so it's probably with her, or maybe it's a mixture of with you. And this is indicative of him balancing other connections that he plans on as well. So this is a person of risque behavior, of promiscuous behavior. This is already seen here. And it shows again. It shows that he is conniving with the female flesh, okay? He's very physical with the females. So it's showing that this can be that he maybe has online inappropriate adult content and maybe goes a step further, strip clubs, etc. All right, so this is already showing. It's in with your power to abandon this connection, because either way it ends. Ooh. Either way it's dead. So this is not something that's going to pan out. Why is that? Let's say you never got the reading, ever. Live your life. You're going to see the sequence and you're going to say, this is not working. No, no, no. There's going to be something in your gut that just, nope. So you can forget the reading and live your life. You're still going to have affirmations you're going to realize. All right? So some people say, no, I'm just leaving right now. And some people say, no, I want to live through it. I want to see. Either way, there's no right or wrong. Just realize that is the flavor. So I do not see a future with you and Bora. I see Bora gonna board you. As in boring. As in capital board. Now, the reading's not over. There is a couple things. I see the connection that you had before is a no-go. I don't remember who it was, but, you know, okay. Let me see something. So there is a couple of messages to close the reading. One of them is good, one of them is really bad. Which one do you want first? Okay. I'll give you the bad one first, okay? And then the good one. So there's a warning of accident. So this can be using a knife to cut vegetables. This can be in the car. This can be with, you know, earth, air, fire, water, you know, flammable, like barbecue, whatever. Be aware. I know it sucks to get that kind of reading. Usually it's in a vehicle, usually when that omen comes out. And that's, you know, and it's, you know, as long as you do the things you need to do, like, you know, make sure you have, you know, aware driving, you know, all the safety things that normal people should follow, you know, and you should be fine. So be more intuitive. The more spiritually clean you are, the more in tune you are with your ancestors, your spirit guides, the more you are, it doesn't work that way. Let's say I knew you for a long time and I had a premonition. Sometimes I've called clients, as weird as it is, because I'm very professional in how I do things. But I have called clients at 3 a.m. and I have said, get the fuck up, do not drive, do not do this, and they thank me later. I have had premonitions with people that I read for, and I will reach out. Sometimes I've had a couple of dreams, not usually. I think I can count in one hand the times I've dreamt with a client. But when it comes out in a reading, I don't have more information. It's all you need to know. Mostly it is vehicle with a car. So anything that has wheels. That is the primary. I explain the other things because it's in the old days when you would get any kind of omen for that, you would want to include like knives and cutting and all that. That's extra. I was just being very, very medieval with that. But in modern day, it's really just a vehicle with that particular omen. As long as you just, you know, when you go out, you know, if it's rainy or stormy or something, take extra precaution. You know, drive aware. Maybe have a little amulet in your car. If you're amulet minded, you know, all the things that normally, like, be aware. If you can ask your spirit guides to give you kind of like an alert. Maybe you'll dream. You have a Pisces moon, so it's not hard for you to do that. You might have your keys drop 3-4 times. Listen to it. If you have your keys drop and you're in a hurry and you're going to be late, say, you know what? I'm going to sit for 20 minutes. Sit for 20 minutes. Don't leave. I know it sounds so stupid and so traditional and so like old fashioned kind of thing, but it's real. Like, yes, it's a flag. Just for, I would say I could find out the time frame. About 14 days. So today being day 1, count 14 days on your calendar. It's within 14 days. Hopefully nothing happens and you just go on with your regular life. It could be something small. You know, it could be something very small, but it can also be something not small. All right. Yeah, it is what it is. It's just, you know, it's one of those things you have to be aware of, you know, just have good gas, be aware where you're driving, have your GPS, you know, plugged in, you know, just be aware of the weather, be aware of cars behind you, stopping at a red light, you know, all the areas where, you know, usually just be more alert as you drive. You know, when you've driven for many, many years, it's kind of second nature. But you can really be alert and just add extra safety, and hopefully nothing will happen and it's like, okay, great, nothing happened and it was fine. It was just to let you know. Like I said, sometimes it comes in as mild and sometimes it comes in, yeah, that's about it. Let me see something. Oh. Okay. All right. I'm not allowed to ask anything else about it. So that was just it. Yeah. Unfortunately, that's how readings are. It's not like a survey. I want to know more. It's just what it is. And that's how it is for everybody. You know that, right? Anybody that gets like readings is usually like, watch what you eat. And I was like, what do you mean? I want to know, is it orange? Is it going to be a fruit? Is it going to be meat? I want to know. That's all I can tell you. Be careful what you eat. So it's just the way it is in the spirit world, you know. But yes, no, just in case you're curious, yes, your own, you know, yeah, things can be felt above that. So a family member might dream about something. Sometimes that happens. And they might say, oh, I had a dream, you know. And usually you'll see that they dream about it like the day before. Because intuition, the closer you are to it happening, the lower the skill. It's when it's farther away. But in this case, we locked it into 14 days. So don't break your head over it. Just be aware. Safe driving. That's it. And also, it's not a good time to be in the car with someone else. If you're within 14 days, if you're going to be the passenger, I don't know about that, because maybe they're having a weird reaction to a medicine, or maybe they have a headache, or you know, maybe they're, you know, whatever. You know, you're trusting your safety in the vehicle with someone else. So that also comes into play as well for being safe, precautious, you know. Okay, when did you have that? When did you have that? Yes, when did you have that? When was the earliest you had that thought? That's your intuition. That's not overthinking. Because, okay, so that's yourself picking up on it. That's yourself picking up on it. Good for you. Oh, you're so spiritual. My goodness. Wonderful that you are so clear. You're going to be fine. That's that moon. You're going to be fine. Look at that sharp intuition of yours. That's beautiful. That's a gift. You're going to be fine. Pay attention to your intuition. Because it's in your first house, your mind can shut your intuition and you may ignore it, which is tough. It's one of the hardest placements for your moon. It might even be debilitated. I forgot. I have to check if Neptune is debilitated there. I got to check. But anyway, yeah, that's not overthinking. Nobody sits there and thinks, "Oh, this is going to happen to me." You know, that's intuition. That's a weird thought. So that means that in the future when you want to develop your gifts, you're going to see how that will make sense in the future. That's going to be the way you dive in. You'll get a weird thought and you can't ignore it, because that's not you overthinking. Nobody overthinks that kind of stuff. They overthink about work or something logical that they're dealing with, not out of nowhere a random thought about their safety. That's intuition. Pay attention to your dreams. Pay attention to weird, I don't know if you've ever experienced a premonition. You may at some point in your life. They feel very strange. But you're going to be fine though, because of that sharpness that you have. You know, so all I'm trying to tell you now is be aware. So if you're gonna, let's say you're mixing something in the kitchen and you're in a hurry and you grab your bags and you're ready to walk out and go to your car, and you know, a couple things fall and you're like, yeah, I had my hands full. Just be like, you know, I don't know. Let me try to feel why that happened. Or right, because your gifts are undeveloped. Once you learn to develop them, it's not going to be like that anymore. Right. So when you develop the gifts, then you know how to use them. Then you'll know how to control them, how to use them. And that's a learning curve. You were born with the ability, but now you have to learn the skills that go with the ability, right? And then it won't be like that anymore. You won't forget, and you'll know how to go to sleep and dream with something to get an answer, and you'll know what else that feeling has to do with and where it's coming from. And those are the things you learn, through practice. But the important thing is that you're already in tune, and that's all. And you'll be fine. Just be open to those weird thoughts. If you wake up and you have this feeling, I don't want to go, I just don't want to go, don't ignore it for the 14 days. Just be more aware, hyper aware of yourself. Now, the good news. The good news is that I do see that there's a potential suitor on the horizon. So hasn't happened yet, but I do see you meeting someone. I don't have more information on it, probably because the reading was so anchored on the Gemini. This type of sequence that I do locks in the question I'm forming, whereas other sequences that I do will open up more. But right now, you're on the path where you're ending a connection that is not ended yet. And you still have to kind of see, okay, what are you going to do about it? How you feel about it? You still got to digest the reading and see what you do. Once that has closure or a determinate answer and more direction, then you can focus on new energy. That way it won't clog it. All right? And sometimes it's just a couple of days. It depends where your headspace is at. But that's it. Thank you so much, sweetheart. The reading did close. I appreciate it. Yeah, exactly. Take your time, think about things, play detective if you want to, be very aware of things. And sometimes you just have to do nothing and watch him walk into those things. But you see how you saw the stuffed animal, but you didn't let it bother you? And you had the weird thoughts and you just dismissed it. That's why the house that your moon is in kind of battles the thought. So you have to learn to bring it out into the light and say, my eyes fixated on that. There's more to that because my gut feeling is telling me there's more to that. So you're going to have to learn the difference between immediately what is your protection, your protectors, your guides telling you something, your intuition telling you something, versus you just noticed it because you're aware, because you have an eye for detail. And you'll learn that. Okay, let's see. But when this new suitor comes in, you'll see me come back. Oh, that's sweet. Thank you. Hopefully things are good. And you don't have to. I mean, I love doing readings. I don't mind. But what I'm trying to tell you is I don't treat people like they have to be dependent on readings. That's what I meant by it. Don't misunderstand me. I meant something positive from it. Like in other words, hopefully you're so happy that you don't have to worry is what I meant. But yeah, no, my doors are always open. But hopefully you'll be so secure and so sure and feel so good about it that you're good. But if not, like I said, I'm always here. And I always love to hear good news though. So that would be good if you would at least give a heads up. And feel free to text. It's just that I'm late to answer sometimes. And I do sometimes mix a Jenny with a Jenny, or a Jennifer with a Jennifer, or a Susan with a Susan, because, that happens to me sometimes. But I remember Jenny Pisces moon, because I only know one Jenny with a Pisces moon. That I will remember immediately. Oh, that's you, okay. It's funny how the brain works. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Have a good one. Your fingers are probably busy doing something and you can't write back, but I got you. Multitask. Thank you so much, Jenny. Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Have a good one.